Hello, this is Agnish Bhaduri from Visitech Solutions, and welcome to the third video in the blockchain series. In this video, we'll be examining the business landscape of the blockchain industry. We shall be going through the stages of the blockchain adoption process, the investments made into this industry, and the most notable investors. Which are the biggest companies which are working in this space? Finally, we'll be taking a look at the entire blockchain landscape, divided by different verticals, use cases, etc. Now, as I mentioned in the introductory video, I wanted this course to be more on the business side and economic side. There's a lot of content on technology, but we need to understand where we can use this technology and what is the future of this particular revolutionary technology. This is to help all of you understand whether you need to invest your time here or not. In a single word, yes. But let us examine how this industry is performing. So, let us just quickly go through or revise the concept of blockchain. The blockchain is a decentralized digital ledger in the form of an open source code. It exists as a distributed database system that maintains a continuously growing list of ordered records. Now that is a very systematically structured definition. Important words. But we have already covered this in the previous video. So, let us quickly have a look at the blockchain timeline. What is the adoption process? What has been the progress so far? And by when do experts expect this technology to be completely adopted? I found a popular timeline on Marsh Clear Insights. So, if you look at the history, and this part is common between all the predictions that you get, and you'll find many predictions, many forecasts about this industry on the net. We are just examining one of them as a guideline. So to look at the history, in 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto releases the white paper on the Bitcoin. And although we did not know at the time, the blockchain was powering this very concept. It is around 2013 that people started exploring blockchain use cases even more than Bitcoin use cases. And concepts like Ethereum and the Bitcoin project too launched. Now, Ethereum is a very different kind of system or a different kind of company. It's a crowd-funded platform which allows everyone to adopt the blockchain technology. It is very similar to the blockchain, however, with certain changes. Led by Vitalik Buterin, this is one of the most revolutionary companies that has come along in a long while. We will be making a separate video on Ethereum alone. In 2015, capital market players, including consortiums like R3 and DAH, start collaborating amongst the largest financial institutions to create blockchain networks for intercompany transactions and other use cases. R3 has become a huge entity right now, and again we'll be looking at a different video just to address the progress of R3 and the future outlook. In 2016, startups and banks start investing in blockchain. Startups start spending time in looking at various use cases of blockchain and coming up with POCs. And banks start investing in blockchain. Now this has been the history till the year of 2016. Currently we are in 2017, and let's see where the road ahead takes us. In 2018, experts expect disruptive applications to start being used. By 2023, blockchain technologies should replace the existing systems. And experts believe by the year of 2026, the blockchain shall be widely adopted in all industries. Now let's start taking a look at some of the investments that have been made in this sphere. Now, a total of $1.4 billion was invested into the blockchain by 2015. And the investments made by VCs have had a huge spike in the year of 2015. If you look at this graph clearly, you will see that the number of deals peaked in the year 2014 and have been reducing ever since. And this is because the VC funds, the venture capital funds and the PE funds have recognized the leading players in this market and have started focusing more funding on those companies alone. And this can be explained by 2015, where the amount of investment rose but the number of deals were lower. Now both amount of investment and number of deals went downwards in the year 2016. One research report says that this is because VCs are now expecting companies to come up with adoption rather than POCs. When we look at the future outlook, we look at how there has been an abundance of POCs in the market, but it is finally time for us to start actually using this technology. Now, let's have a look at the top investors and the top investees. I've downloaded some of the data from blockchain.info and I kind of ranked them from largest to smallest in terms of amount of investment between the 400 investors in the blockchain, ranging from institutional investors, hedge funds, and investment banks. They also include HNIs. The largest players that have emerged are the Data Collective, you have MUFJ. Andreessen Horowitz is another PE that has been specifically focusing on blockchain. They have been betting big on this new technology. You have other funds like the Union Square Ventures and the Greylock Partners, which lead this list. I've also found some HNIs like Vikram Pandit, the ex-chief of Citigroup, to have invested in this technology. Now, where has this money gone? Let's have a look at the top investees. I've again ranked this data on the basis of the largest companies in terms of funding received. As you can see in this graph, this group is led by Circle Internet Financial, which has received over a whopping $200 million in funding so far. It is followed by companies like Ripple Labs, who have their own cryptocurrency and have operated in the intercompany transaction sphere, and by Coinbase, which is another e-wallet. Now, you'll see that most of these companies are in the Bitcoin sphere. Why is this? You must be puzzled because I just mentioned that Bitcoin is not blockchain and there are so many other use cases that we shall be examining now. The reason is that these companies started much earlier. The use case of the Bitcoin was how blockchain started. In fact, it was after Bitcoin was introduced that people came up with the technology of blockchain. Thus, the reason that so many investments have gone to these companies is just because they have been working on this for a while. Whereas, the use cases for blockchain are comparatively new. Although they have a brighter future, they are still in the proof of concept phase and haven't been implemented yet. And this is why you will find most of the leading blockchain companies to be operating within the Bitcoin sphere, whether it is intercompany remittances, whether it is transactions, etc. We, however, will be looking at some of the non-Bitcoin companies that have come up and have started operating. Let us have a quick look at some of the top companies working in the blockchain space. Now, the first one is CoinDesk, and it's my favorite cryptocurrency news channel. It's a Bitcoin news agency and it provides news and analysis on digital currencies. I get a lot of my information and my updates from the site, and I would recommend it to anyone who wants to be updated on Bitcoin. The second is Ethereum. Now, Ethereum is an open source platform to write and distribute decentralized application methods. This is truly one of the most revolutionary companies of this century. Right from the concept of where they operate to the technique of funding. They have used crowdfunding platforms and ensured they are not weighed down by their investors. They are the leading company in the public blockchain era. But let's approach the private blockchain versus public blockchain concept a little later. Third company is Ripple. Ripple allows low-cost international payment solutions for different companies. And finally, Poloniex Exchange, which is a Bitcoin exchange offering over 100 BTC markets for trading. Now, these are just some of the top companies. This list can vary from person to person. I've picked out some of those companies which have appealed to me a lot and have generated a lot of traction in the market. Now, let's look at some of the miners. And let's not forget the importance of miners. Miners are what support the network. If your miners go, your network collapses. So let us also examine the mining pools. What is a mining pool? It is simply an infrastructure set up by a company for the sole purpose of mining bitcoins or mining transactions or verifying and validating transactions. Again, most of the mining pools today operate in the Bitcoin sphere. Now, Discussfish and Antpool lead this list. I have ranked this list on the basis of hash rate. The hash rate are the number of hashes that you're solving in a given period of time. Essentially, you can use the hash rate as a measure of how active that particular mining pool is. So Discussfish or Antpool of course being led by the Alipay network, or now being called the Ant Financial Group. These are some of the companies which are the most active in this mining industry. And finally, let's have a look at this picture I found from Frost & Sullivan and the Outlier Ventures. And I really think it's one of the best pictures out there if you want to look at the blockchain landscape. They have divided blockchain into the different use cases, the different industries, and you can see the leading companies within that industry. Right from the blockchain consulting to media, social network, enterprise, infrastructure, and the big one right down there, the left-hand corner, the financial services infrastructure, where you will see companies like the R3, the Ripples. So you can just pause the video right now and have an insightful look at different companies. I would recommend you follow up on all these companies, read about them, read about what they are doing, and this will give you a further insight into the different use cases of blockchain. We will be covering many of these use cases, and as time goes on in this video series, as soon as I get to know a new interesting use case, I will make a video of it and upload it to this series. However, you can start with your own research by just looking at these companies on this particular page and finding out what they do, how they do, and what they plan to do in the future. That brings us to the end of the business landscape video. This is Agnish Bhaduri, your instructor. Thanks for watching this video. See you in the next one. Thank you.